Whether it be two-wheel drive,
four-wheel drive,
or I don't know, any of these Broncos that our partners over there drive, this is your ATN podcast presented by nobody yet, Kelly.
Nope.
I probably should really work on that. I keep having fun with it, and it's been like a year, but I probably should actually.
Yeah, the punchline's already done.
Yeah, I probably. Well, I mean,
Mike.
Ooh, just the tip.
See, you yell like
I probably should actually get the people that we want to that's asked to sponsor us. So I probably should go ahead and do that.
You said it.
As much as we have fun with that, but we'll get everybody in here and going. It's Monday, so you know what that means. We're going to talk some vehicles, and there'll be some news I want to talk about at the end. We're going to talk about some EV news because news dropped today. I don't know what kind of news dropped today.
No idea.
It's a weird day for things, but yeah, we got some stuff we're going to talk about towards the end of the show, and then of course we got a special guest tonight. We got Wheel2Live. Mr. Jeff is on here, and Jeff's got a variety of vehicles, which I appreciate. Like, he's not just hey, I don't just one guy. I'm not just with the Bronco, or I'm not just Toyota guy. I spread the love around.
I don't just fit into one pigeonhole.
That's right. Well, can you bring your mic closer?
No,
we're going to talk about mics.
I don't want it. I want to close.
Anyways, but
we the only ones having technical difficulties.
we got the B team over there who we got to hang out with this past weekend. We did lunch and dinner. Lunch and dinner
and drives.
We got to take Jess to Jack Daniels.
Yeah, Jack Daniels and lunch.
I mean, Mark came too.
Well, but Jess, we're the brown water drinkers of the group, so it was. I don't have one yet. I've got a special bottle. I've got a special bottle tonight. I'm breaking out some new makers.
Oh, I have fancy makers. You should have told me. We could have hooked it up.
Well, I gave you some Blantons.
What are you drinking?
You did give me Blantons. I'm very excited about it. Tonight I am drinking the Uncle Nearest that we got a couple weeks ago.
Oh, you're glutton for punishment, huh?
No, it was. You guys liked it.
I put the ice cube in it.
Do you need some help?
It's only a little spicy.
I remember the smell.
But as many people probably don't know, interestingly enough, Dave and I like bourbon, and Mark and Kelly like vodka. So, we're a match made in heaven.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, friendship. Definitely. And generally, like, interest-wise, me and Jess are more in line, and these two are in line.
It's actually kind of funny because we noticed that even more so this weekend. We were talking about, Mark and I were like, okay, well, we'll go do our thing because we know that, whatever. I can't remember what it was, but Mark and I were like, yep, see, it's even more so.
But we're going to do the bourbon trail. I don't know if you guys are going to get to go or not, but guess what? They have vodka at Buffalo Trace. They make a vodka there. So, so look, you two would actually be all right.
All right.
Me and Jess will be
Kelly's the fancy squire now. Like, she's got all the
that is correct, Mark. I had to hear about it tonight. Look, she's in her Squire cup.
Is that your free gift?
It is. It's my 2025 Squire gift. Dave brought it up and put my ice in my glass and everything. So
yeah, well. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Ooh. But for those that don't know, Squire is a Jack Daniels thing. It's like a special group of people.
Jesus, keep selling this.
It's kind of an exclusive club that I don't know. Yeah, it is. It's cool.
Well, she doesn't like bourbon and whiskey yet. She's proud of this. So
yeah, but I'm respectful of it, and I think it's a super cool thing. And I could tell you a lot about the Jack Daniels side of things because we've been there a couple times.
Yeah, so. We have. Anytime friends that have never been there, we're like, hey, it's only like 30 minutes away. Let's go.
Yeah.
So that's our weekend. But Jess, you had some big news that came up this week, and you even surprised us with it because you came in and you were all giddy, and of course we're all trying to sit down and have the chit chat. You came up to the studio and snagged a selfie, and which I didn't even have the studio lights on for you or anything. But Yeah, I got something shiny to show you guys.
And Mark says you should really go look in the driveway.
But we didn't.
You're just like, yeah,
We'll get
we'll
it
get
was like,
there.
what
We'll
did
get
they
there.
bring this time? Like, and sure enough, you picked up a new wild track.
I sure did. Yeah.
You
Wild,
unbridled your old one.
crazy. Yeah, I went super unbridled with this one, but yeah, I had been kind of looking at the 25s. My 22 was great. I got her all fixed up after the alternator issue that I know we haven't talked about on the show, and I don't think we're going to. It's over now. But there was a lot of things that I felt that I was missing. There was a lot of things I did to my 22 that I couldn't really undo, and I sort of wanted to start over. So I'd priced the 25s, and it was not within my pocketbook. Mark wasn't ready to pay for it either. So, the local dealership who we've dealt with a couple times had one sitting on the lot that kind of fit all the boxes. And I was like, okay, I guess we're doing this.
Yeah.
So we did. So, I won't lie, there was a lot of tears. My carbonized gray Wild Track, that car, changed my life over the last 2.5 years for all the good reasons. And I'll miss it. I had tons of fun. Now I got a new one that I can bash up at Windrock the next time.
Yeah. We'll really break this one in this time. Because I've been trying to I've been hinting at this spring going to the Iron Gap. I dropped a video on, and by the way, all 3 channels are broadcasting this tonight. So if you're from the old NNP side, and you're like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
This is ATN Off-Road now, and we're going to talk a lot of off-road stuff here. And I won't do every live stream this way, but I wanted to kind of wake the audience up over there and say, hey, and Danny will be back. Me and Danny are going to do a show on ATN Off-Road again. So you enjoyed your Danny time. He's coming back. It's been a few years, but Danny will definitely be back in that. But yeah, so Jess, any major things that you've noticed different from your 22 to the 24? Anything stand out?
Well, my 22 had high package on the interior, right? Cloth seats, which was what I wanted, but not really for the off-roading part. But now I've moved up to the Luxe package.
Ooh, fancy. Pinkies
nicer
up.
Seats.
Pinkies up.
Power seats, heated steering wheel,
Wow,
improved sound system. So, we're booming in there.
Yeah.
But the really awesome part for me is I've learned so much over the last couple of years that now I know more of what I want. Where, over the last 2 years, I'm like, oh yeah, throw that on there. This looks cool. This is awesome. And it wasn't always that awesome. So, I have the modular bumper,
the colored
and
painted hardtop,
the painted hardtop, which
I'm totally jealous of.
Yeah. It might be too fancy though. Like, I'm really afraid to, like, there's so many scrapies. It's going to get so scrapey.
Sure. Time to get that thing.
Jess, you want to trade?
Just like, nope.
But I got a text from our friend John Carson, who runs the Central Kentucky Bronco group, and he was like, so are you mall crawling this one? And I was like, absolutely effing not. I'm still ready to wheel, but it's definitely a little nicer. But I've got the improved bumper on it. It's got a steel bash plate, so a little more set up for off-roading, but I'm excited really to start a new build with all the stuff that I've learned, and all the stuff that I know that's out there, and all the options.
Well, I should have tried to sell you some skid plates then when you were here.
Oh yeah,
got some lifestyle off-road skid plates.
I'm waiting for Supercell, so I can get Adam at IAG to put them on for me.
There you go. Well, I don't know that Adam IAG was to put on a different brand, but they actually, IAG has some really for a good price, some nice skid plates. Are they?
No, that's what she's talking about.
No, I know. But would I go completely hardcore with those? Probably not. But for most people, I think they're perfectly great what they do.
Well, and that's kind of, this all sort of got in my head last year at Supercell. I made some posts about it on my Instagram account, and like I had done some mods on my 22 that like prohibited me from adding some additional aftermarket things. No fault of anybody's, they just didn't work together. And it was mods at that point that I couldn't go backwards. Like I couldn't unmod what had happened because I had added some shackle conversion mounts because I had the capable bumper before, but I want to put shackles on the front of my Bronco and look tough. But that shackle conversion kit really inhibited everything else that was going on. So
we all lived through our 20s, Jess, but I understand.
It was crazy.
I know. They were crazy.
So, but the more I looked at it, and I was like, I've gone too far. It's going to be too much work. And like I said, really, like, sorry, Ford, but looking at the pricing of what's coming out for 25, the wild track's off the table. It just really wasn't going to work for me. So I was like, I got to do it now. The price was right for the one that was on the lot. You know, it had a lot of the options that I was looking for, and even more. Like, I didn't realize it had a steel bash plate on it until I was going to sign the paperwork.
Well, and speaking of options, I have to do this to you too, because they're two Michigan faithful. It's 21-7 at halftime.
Nobody cares.
OSU over Notre Dame. So I'm just going to throw that out there. But hey, Big Ten, right? I mean, you got to be with Big Ten.
No.
Smart girl. I would never vote. I would never root for Michigan either.
That's no.
And just so everybody knows,
whatever.
So everybody knows. But we you got a different color. You got carbon, or you've got not carbonized gray. It's
cactus gray.
Cactus gray, which was my top choice. Kelly voted it down. And when we
not against your Bronco, Jess.
No, when we were looking for us, it was either that you wanted Area 51, I wanted Cactus Gray, and somehow we went red.
In hindsight, we should have gotten the Area 51 initially.
Ew, no way.
What you
not Area 51? Sorry, I was thinking antimatter blue.
Yeah, we like that.
After the fact, we should have gotten the
but we were both kind of scared of that. Don't mention that color to her. She's not. But we also didn't like it till we saw it actually on a Bronco.
True. We saw it on a gas can and it still didn't do it justice. But once we saw it on a truck.
But speaking of Broncos, we've got a special guest tonight, guys. We've got a man who made me jealous because he has not just a Bronco, he has a Bronco Raptor. And he's had it for, I think, a year now.
Yeah.
And it's probably in the color that we would have chose if we were to get to pick our Bronco Raptor, which is what color, Kelly?
Our Bronco Raptor color?
No, it's carbonized, or God, I can't even.
Oh my gosh.
You know you want the gray, Dave.
No, it's man, sorry, brain fart here. It's the orange color.
Cyber orange.
No. We're performance. Jeff, I'm just gonna I'm messing this up.
Wow.
Everybody welcome in Jeff.
It's code orange.
Hey, why do I always trip over the two oranges?
Well, me and Jeff beforehand talked about it, and I said I'm totally jealous of Code Orange. And
here's the thing, Jeff, is that I always, and Dave's like, no, it's not that color. It's not that color. I don't know why, but I always want to say cyber orange, and I know I'm looking at Code Orange, but I just can't put code in my mouth when I want to say the orange color.
It does come out. I at first, I don't know. I mean, at least a half a dozen times I would tell somebody that's cyber orange, and then I would be like, no, what am I even saying? No, it's code orange.
Oh, I'm not saying I'm perfect on that, because clearly I couldn't even get the right color out to begin with. Jeff, welcome to the show, man. We're happy to have you on here. I've been following your channel for quite a while. And you came, like probably many people, you got the beamy top. You did a nice unpacking of it. You really probably the best explanation of putting a top on that I've seen out there. And not that you were late to the game, but you weren't an early reservation guy. So
no,
there was that wave of everybody had to be first to put these things on. But then it's like, okay, the quality stuff starts coming in if you just wait a little bit. And your video on that was very well done.
Thank you.
And then you've just went out and had a lot of fun with your Bronco Raptor, but that's not your only game in town. What else do you wheel, man?
I got a Toyota TRD Pro 4Runner and a Discovery 2 Land Rover 99. And the Land Rover's on 37s. I have the 4Runner on 35s right now with a long travel suspension. And I like to experience a lot of different types of vehicles, and I'm not just stuck on just one brand. So I'll wheel a lot of different things.
Well, so what brought you? I've got your channel up here, and I'm definitely going to throw some links in the comments below. But what kind of brought you into off-roading?
I'm not sure. I bought I'd always wanted the Land Rover, and so my first real four-wheel drive, I guess, that I bought in about, I think it was like 2009. I got a Discovery 2.
Okay.
And I read somewhere that it said that you may not be a mechanic now, but if you're going to keep one of these vehicles, you're eventually going to turn into a mechanic.
Yeah.
So I started wrenching on this thing and doing all kinds of different mods to it and whatnot. And I had a local club, started going to like off-road parks and doing all the stuff. And yeah, I was just kind of hooked from then on. And we didn't, it was early on with a lot of the overlanding stuff, and ended up wanting a safari vehicle, and so we just did all the stuff. And that was before I started making content. So, and it just kind of just went from there.
Yeah. So, and then it looks like you jumped into the Toyota, which is, if you were getting into overlanding, the 4Runner's been kind of the king of like people wanting to kit those things out, which is, I think for a lot of people, they saw early on, like when overlanding, I remember overlanding term in like 7 or so, starting to like, overlanding. What's that? But I think what it made off-roading more acceptable to a lot of people, because early on, I remember you thought, oh, it's just redneck. You just go out there and just tear up your vehicle. And then, but I think well, a little bit, but overlanding, like people can, I get to, I remember
it's the bougie version.
Well, but
the thought process.
When I was a kid, I built models, and it was the fun of assembling stuff. And that's part of the fun of this community, is building it how you want it, the look of it. It's part of an expression of who, you see yourself. And, but kind of what made you go to Team Toyota for a while?
I'm not gonna lie, I got totally hooked on X Overland and all the builds, and so I just I kept coming back to a TRD Pro, because I said to myself, I'm not going to modify this vehicle.
Famous last words.
Not going to do anything to it.
Overland,
and then we've got a roof rack. We're putting lights on it, and then it's like there's not much stock left on it.
That, Jeff?
I'm sorry.
How did your family accept that one? Because Kelly came from a GM household where you leased a car in 3 years, you dumped it, and you get the next car.
Yeah. No, it was my wife is just kind of like, what are you doing?
Right.
Kind of giving up the fight at this point, probably.
Yeah, you've ruined it.
That was Kelly.
You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I bought a Nissan. We had a tornado come through on the Good Day Friday tornadoes. Good Friday. Good Friday. Jeez, I can't talk tonight. But
it's Monday.
In 9, and we've been a Nissan kind of family at the time, but it was like, just, you got it. When a tornado goes to the town, you got to grab something. And we found this old white Xterra, and I bought it, and I start cutting on it instantly. And she's like, "What are you doing?"
It was 5 or 6 years older than the one that was totaled in the tornado. So it was like, and that was already like 3 years old or something. So by this point, it's almost a 10-year-old vehicle. Well, I'm just saying that you went from what you went from. Like, and I was like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm sure." And then he didn't tell me why he was sure, because he had plans. Little did I know.
Yeah.
And then he started cutting on it.
So
there's always the motive
from going from the Disco 2 there to a more modern riding 4Runner. That had to be night and day, right?
Oh, it's absolutely. Yeah. Night and day difference. Even with a V6 and the 4Runner, the power, was a lot better than it was with the Land Rover. Land Rover had a V8, and it's all-wheel drive. Full-time 4-wheel drive, I guess I should say, and it's heavy, and you start putting bigger tires and the rest of it on there. It just feels like you're getting everywhere you go as you're going slow. You can go anywhere, you're just going to go slow.
I get that totally, because his Xterra, and then I ended up getting an 09 Xterra, and the difference with night and day between his 01 and my 09.
Yeah. Well, from 160 horsepower to 260 horsepower.
So I mean, like on the trails, I was like, sure, I'll get up over this, and he'll be like, okay, let me go ahead and give it a little go. Let's go. So it was definitely like making sure the hamsters are working extra under it for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and now you're in the Raptor, which it's like your power band just keeps each vehicle jumping up.
It's dramatically increased. Yeah.
What kind of I mean, Toyota guys don't easily accept other brands, much like Jeep guys. I mean, it's very like I won't say class driven, but there is there's border walls between all the segments.
Yeah,
of
there's
the
usually
vehicles.
big border walls.
Yeah.
So how did you make that jump to say yes? I'm gonna add a Bronco to the fleet.
Well, when they started with taking the media out into the desert and doing all the stuff, the first time I saw 14 inches of travel going up and over and just seeing that just be so balanced and all it could do, I was like, I've got to get one of these. I didn't care what it was, what brand or anything. It was just I have to find a way to get this. And
we were
blown away.
unfortunately we didn't get invited to that press trip, but I was totally FOMO and some of my buddies out there. I was like, what's it like? What's it like? What's it like?
Yeah.
And then Tommy with TFL, we had him on the show right when because they just after that press launch, they got one because TFL generally gets them first. And I was interviewing him and they did some videos like, here's what these big fenders are like trying to go through the drive-through and stuff. And now owning one, they don't feel extreme at all to me at all. But going from our Bronco, seeing these big fenders, you're like, oh my God, you'll never reach the counter of anything. Or I remember being so excited talking to him, like, what's it like? And it's like, it's a Bronco, man. Like anything else.
It's a Bronco on a little bit of steroids.
Yeah. So what's been because you went Toyota, the 4Runner now really seems very under horsepowered for what modern vehicles are out there.
Yes.
Still a solid engine. Like the 4-liter in that thing is a very solid engine. But when you go from that, what's the horsepower of that? It's like 280 maybe.
Yeah, it's somewhere around it's 260, 280, somewhere in there, I think.
Yeah.
And
but you made the jump to 400.
Yeah. 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 Even with the 37-inch tires, it's still, it just they go. And I really plan on doing the recalibration and getting the extra horsepower. I just haven't done it yet. And but yeah, it's just it's crazy for what it is.
You'll
it really
love
is. I can't explain that to anybody, but they just they just think it's got bigger tires.
The Ford Performance, once you add the tune of theirs, and it's a different vehicle, and in the most fun ways. Like the shifting is so much smoother. Like if you stomp it, like it goes through the gears. Like before, you're like, okay, you're kind of like, okay, let's go, and no, now it's like a little sports truck. It's like
and then if you paddle shift it, it's a whole nother experience.
Well,
ask how he knows.
Oh yeah, for what
he
they
may
cost,
paddle shift more often than he should.
Yeah, for what they cost, I got to enjoy the whole vehicle, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to get your feels on it. It's a machine. It's never. I don't even like to even say that it's a vehicle. It's a machine. It really is.
Yeah. So what would be a dream trip now that you have all three of these vehicles and you've kind of evolved over, each of them, it sounds like, has a different need for you, like fulfills a different need for you. So what would be a dream trip with, and which vehicle would it be with?
I would like to do the Rubicon in the I would probably do the Raptor.
Yeah.
Because one I can drive, it's so comfortable on the highway. And I just can't, people just don't understand. It literally just tracks straight. There's not any, you don't get the road wobble, you don't get all the stuff. And it could drive all the way out there and then just wheel the crap out of it and hopefully not incur massive body damage or anything. But I've got about 36,000 miles on it now. So I'm ready to get, I don't worry so much with the little scuffs and scrapes and things now at this point. So.
Well, that's the worst thing on any of these vehicles is, especially if you buy it new straight, you're like, it's always that first scratch. And I used to know a contractor that wouldn't buy a vehicle unless it had a scratch on it.
Because he didn't want to be the first
because
one.
He knew I'm going to go scratch it and I don't want to feel bad about it. But especially for like the Raptors, for what the retail price on it is on these things, like,
let me tell you, the scratch in the steering wheel that we didn't know that happened or where it came from, I got in big trouble for that because I have no idea where it even came from.
Well,
and that was the first scratch.
I've got the same thing on the bottom of my steering wheel.
Yes.
And I do not think I did that.
Maybe it's stock. Like they just come with all the Raptors.
Yeah,
must be.
Must be.
It's legit. I told him, I was like, I don't think I scratched it. He's like, it was not here before, and I was like, I didn't scratch it. Like,
yeah,
Well, I'm glad.
Wait.
I hate that you have it as well, but I'm glad to hear you have it as well.
Yeah, it's right on the very bottom of the steering wheel. And I mean, like I don't think I did it. I don't know how I got there, but
Well, all right, that was Jeff with the show.
But Dave, you're absolutely right. It's like that first scratch. You guys know you've wheeled with me a couple times in my previous Bronco, and I'm like, whatever, let's send it. I don't care. It's all good. But I mean, I've had the new Bronco now for 5 days. And as much as I'm like, we're not mall crawling, we're gonna wheel all the things and get it dirty. I'm like, but don't scratch it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff,
Too pretty right now.
Jess there. Jess has limited, like you've done a lot of like light off-roading, but we took her to Windrock Park on a trail that I didn't expect this mud hole to be.
We
what
just
it was.
expected to be more light off-roading.
But it was the buggies had just worn it out, and it was basically you were sideways. And on our previous Bronco, I put the smaller non-Sasquatch flares on them. I stretched the wheelbase out 1.5 inches. So I was not going to touch the body on anything. But poor Jess, you hear she falls into the rut, and you hear where it's just like the side plastics are just riding down.
And I'm
these
just
ruts.
cringing the whole time. It's like, oh my gosh, we put her in this.
Everyone's yelling at me like, pull your mirrors in. I'm like, what about my fender flares? I mean, I kept everything. It was all good. Like, I feel like the mud pit that day was way easier than the giant rock situation. We all know.
Really?
Yeah.
On trail 22.
Yeah.
There.
So
when Mark says, I almost watched my friend die. Like,
oh yeah, that was cool. Oh my God. It was a crazy day. That was a different time when I was like, I got this. Oh shit, I don't.
Oh wait, I'm on 2 wheels, not even 3. Like I'm
right.
on 2,
Yeah.
Before,
2 front wheels.
Before Jess wheeled with us, Jeff, she thought she was wheeling. And then it was like, uh-oh.
Well, and I told you guys before we've talked about this, I've been out plenty of times out at the Daniel Boone Backcountry Byway and, Turkey Bay, all sorts of places all over Kentucky, Indiana, Michigan, done kind of all the things. And I'm like, yeah, I got this. No big deal. And we get to Windrock. And I'm like, and it was like all good until it wasn't. And I was like, I'm not ready. I'm
You're like, I don't know these people well enough to do this kind of trails. What's happening here?
I still don't know why I was like, yeah, I'll go out with you. I trust you guys. I met you for like 3.5 seconds.
Right.
I mean, it worked out.
Well, the good thing is, I will say, and maybe Jess can attest to this, but we're not going to put you in anything that we wouldn't put ourselves in. And we're also not going to ever leave our person on the trail. Like if you came with us, we are making sure that you get out of it, whether it takes us a couple hours to get you out, which isn't normal, but we will get you out. And even if it has to like cut the day short because whatever happened, like that type of thing. So that's the thing I will put out there and say that, if you come out with us, you're out with us and we're all in it together kind of a thing. So
that's right.
Yeah. We've talked about that before, kind of tips for people going out off-roading. First of all, don't go by yourself.
100%.
Second of all, go with people that you trust. And, I've been fortunate to always be out on the trails. Even, a couple months ago, I know I've very much not wanted to talk about it, but we were out with about 20 Broncos in Land Between the Lakes in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And it was great. We had a good time. We went out night wheeling. Everything was awesome. And we went out and did the same trails the following day. And they were muddy and it was deep. And I made a mistake for myself, but we ended up with 6 Broncos down with alternator issues. The good part is no one got left out there. Everybody got taken care of. I had guys that left the ride with me just to try to wash out my alternator, who ended up having the same issue. So, it's a big deal to be out on the trails with, people aren't going to bail on you. Like, oh, good luck.
I tried, Jess. I really did. She wouldn't let me.
The worst part of that day is I had to get a ride home with a guy in a Wrangler.
Oh man!
I don't think I heard that story.
Oh my goodness!
Terrible.
No, it was all good.
It was experience.
It was the worst.
So with that being said, go ahead. Sorry, Jessa.
Well, I had a question for Jeff. Like, you have all these options, right? Like, you have all sorts of awesome vehicles to go wheel. I've got one. I'm like, I guess I'm going with this one. Like, first of all, how do you decide what you're going to go wheel? And follow-up question, what's your daily driver?
My daily, I daily the Raptor.
Yeah.
Every day. And it's, yeah. So, and beyond that, just whatever the mood strikes. If the opportunity comes up and the Land Rover is running, I'll drive it. I've got a blown pinion seal right at the moment, so it's been kind of parked for a while. So, it's not on the road right now. So, kind of narrows the choices, I guess you could say.
Yeah, but it's still nice to have a nice option to go. Oh, I still want to go out there. Well, I got 2 others. Let's
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Yeah.
Mo's down. So how obviously you could, at the time, 4Runner wasn't like hard to get. You said you bought it in 17, so no pandemic issues, no. Did you have to pay markups with the Toyota dealership still?
No markups. The only thing there was just basically no discounts. They were the Pro was still hard enough that you couldn't there wasn't any real negotiation with it. Right. Which I got it before the price increases started, and the pricing went just nuts after that. I mean, by 19, 20, 21, just they kept going up. And I think I was maybe in that one for about 41.5.
Okay.
And
you can't touch that.
You couldn't, no, not anywhere. And it was just funny. I mean, I kept looking at it. I'm like, it's making money every year.
That crazy.
The resale was going up, and I'm not really doing anything. We've only got, I think, 60,000 miles on that vehicle.
Wow.
At this point now, and yeah, it's just, but yeah, I mean, the pricing's just gotten utterly crazy. And with the new, these new 2025s, they're crazy.
Oh, so, yeah, and I bet with the pandemic, you're sitting here with this vehicle that suddenly is worth $50,000+ easily.
Yeah, it was hard. I contemplated I was like, I can regroup. I'll wait till things calm down, and I'll buy another one. I really did think about possibly selling it, but.
So what are your opinion now that you've been in the Raptor, which the Raptor is pretty plushed out. I think at the time you got yours, they still were doing high in the Lux package. You have the Lux package, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Because I remember you got the code orange, the seatbelts, all the fun stuff.
Oh, fun.
But you see that, and then you see where Toyota's gone with the 4Runner. And I'm curious, I saw you did a video recently of kind of pricing it out, the new 4Runner, hey, would this be right for us?
Yeah.
What's your opinions? Because it seems like Toyota crowd's definitely split on this vehicle. They want everything that the previous generation was price wise, but they want all the new goodies and aren't willing to really accept that.
No, I think you start adding the like the things that the dealers are going to add, or like with Toyotas, they have like what is it? Gulf States Toyota is like a buying group that will supply the vehicles once they hit port.
Mm-hmm. They're
gonna load them up. They'll put all weather mats, all the things to it and everything. You're gonna be paying more than MSRP anyway, because they're gonna add that stuff in. And but I've seen there's I guess like the off-road TRD off-road package. I saw one that was $6,000 over, and then I just recently saw where TRD John was saying there's another dealer out there selling one for like with a $16,000 markup and addendum. And I'm like, that's insane. I mean, it's like getting it up to $66,000, $67,000, for.
Yeah. And when the pro MSRP is around there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I mean, I can understand being like, it's cool to be first, but at that cost, I'm sorry. I don't see it.
I completely agree, Jeff, because it was the same thing like I was saying at the beginning of the show with me, buying a new Bronco last week, kind of for those same exact reasons. Like the pricing for the 25s is going through the roof. Did I need a new Bronco? No.
Lies.
Do I like shiny things?
The answer is always new Bronco.
But it's the same thing. Like, Mark sat down and priced the 25s, you know, with a build out the way I would want it, or we would want it, because we both run wild tracks, and we saw the same thing on that side. It's just like, you know, that sort of, I don't know if it's a generational thing, sort of like there's that first group of Broncos, right? And it might be the same, you know, sort of on the Toyota side, like each kind of generation, not that it's a new generation, but, you know, the pricing is crazy for next year.
Yeah, see it like they did away with the wild track on the Bronco. It's gone. And then, you know, if you're going to get something equivalent to it, I guess the strop package, that's $70-something thousand. And I mean, are they going to, what kind of markup? You know, they're going to do markup on it. I don't know. And
that's exactly what we did last week is, you know, I was running a wild track and we kind of priced out 25 Badlands with the extra wild track.
I took
thing.
the same stuff. I was doing the same stuff that was in the wild track that she was looking at purchasing. And I said, okay, no wild track, so let's do Badlands. And then if I put in all the same stuff that you're going to get here, you know, I think it was another 10 grand over what MSRP was on the wild track. And she just looked at me, she's like, nope, no, there's no way. And that helps, you know, kind of guide her down the path of, if I want a wild track, and I don't want to pay, you know, the cost of a house for one of these things.
That little extra button's worth 10 grand. Trust me.
Is it though?
Follow me. We'll get the Raptor. Follow me. We'll see.
Yeah, you'll see.
Yeah, but yeah, like the new Toyota pricing in of course, Jeff, I'm assuming you follow the forums of Toyota a little bit, being an owner. They're hating on that 4-cylinder as well.
Yeah,
like, there is no love for that 4-cylinder.
No, it's still a heavy vehicle. And even though the horsepower looks good, and I'm sure it runs well, just the long-term longevity of it, I'm kind of in a camp here with this. I don't see it. And the Tundra continues to have problems. The Tacoma is having some issues. And are we going to have problems with this new 4Runner as well? I mean, I like it. I like the design.
Yeah, it looks great.
But I kind of thought maybe they would go back to like the first gen and have the removable top and do. I think
a lot of people expected that because of the Bronco. Now, you know, with Bronco joining in that Wrangler kind of that, and in the late 80s, early 90s, everybody from Isuzu Amigos were doing the little removable tops and all this stuff. And I don't know if that part of it is it has to be a crash test thing, or there's something about it that they're just
a safety thing. I'm
not willing to do that. But no, like and when we were at SEMA, we saw the Surf Edition, which shows the potential of that. You're like, it's there to have some fun.
So cool.
And then you see the Land Cruiser Rocks, and you're just like, Toyota, just have the balls to
just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah,
just do it.
Right?
But the new 4Runner it's very nice. Like we saw it at the State Fair of Texas.
Yep, it was the first time that it was out in public.
Yeah, we got to see the mud bath color, which I really like that color quite a bit. But yeah, you get to $70,000 for what that vehicle is, and then you look at what Jeff, like what you have with your Raptor.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying either are better. I mean, obviously we tend to lean towards the Ford for off-road products now, but none of them are better. They're all going to have their problems. But I mean, if I remember, you got a pretty good deal on your Raptor, if I remember right. So if you had to do that all over again for what you paid for your Raptor, now you see what Toyota's got.
And don't worry, we're not just a Ford show, so you're welcome to make your.
But would it sway you now? Would the 4Runner sway you to go, well, maybe I would have done that?
No, it just didn't. It didn't push it enough. It's still too. I mean, like with my 2018, all the stuff, all the off-road stuff is the same. You know, the thing that they should have done, the Lexus LX 700H is now going to have a triple lock version with the front locker and everything.
Yeah.
That's what to really get the excitement of it. I feel like it should have had something like that. I really do. they needed to not put that in their $100,000 unobtainable vehicle for the masses, and start to put that into more of their upper level trims and like their 4Runner and Land Cruiser. I think they would have got more excitement. But
did the Land Cruiser excite you all when they dropped that?
No,
basically
not in its native form. Now I've seen some builds that are pretty cool, but just now I like the GX. I really like the GX. I think the GX is a really cool
we would
vehicle.
end up with, because we
would have the GX 550 for sure.
The Over Trail, out of the reviews we've done of both, I definitely you are getting more horsepower too. The 3.5 and that non-hybrid, which I know some people want that, especially with Lexus. That's might have been an issue of like, well, I want the hybrid because you're paying the Lexus price. But I like that. Nope, and that little thing will get up and go too.
Well, and the off-road capabilities of it too. It's a mixture of both, where it's plush enough on the road where it's comfortable and it's everything and it goes, and then you've also got the ability to take it off road and be able to trust it when you're doing it, and all the easy buttons that it has in it as well. So, you know, I definitely see it as a competitor with Bronco for sure.
Oh yeah. And price wise for Raptor, it is a competitor.
Right. No, I really like, they are, it's a striking looking vehicle when you see an Over Trail coming on the road. They really are. I think it's a very good looking vehicle.
Even that one, had they done a triple locked on that, or just like, because in reality, other than the engine, it's no really different. The interior, I think, is definitely a Lexus interior, which is nicer, but you don't see the value of what now you look at the 4Runner or you know, even Land Rover with what they're offering now. And was any sway to the new Land Rovers?
No. I like the Defender, but I think the Defender it should have been removable doors and tops like the old Defender. I mean, I really the design change there looked more like what a Discovery or the like an LR4. If you were going with that design change, it looked more like that type of vehicle, less old school Defender. Just my 2 cents. So I mean, they're fantastic vehicles. Don't get me wrong. That just wasn't. It didn't excite me like I would rather go buy a $1,000 fixer upper, and I'd get more excited over that kind of Land Rover than I would off of the paying these premium prices for like just something that it didn't excite me at all.
How is your family taken to off-roading? Because I've seen your son in some of your videos. He loves helping dad out. How is that working out?
He loves it. Absolutely loves it. And they're gone at the moment, or you would hear him in the background. But we've got a new mascot for the channel. We've got a mini Aussie, and
fun.
Temperamental little sucker. I thought he would come in here and start. Oh, here he comes. He heard on cue.
He was like, "What, me?"
Were you talking about me, Dad?
TV time, Dad, right?
Right?
Yeah. That's hilarious. Anyway, here.
Look at that baby.
Hey, look. Here you are. See?
He's like, I just want to lick you. Wait. We were actually talking about Aussies this weekend and how neither of us have enough land for an Aussie, because we both know that they're such workers that they just want to run and nip and all the things.
Yeah. He's trying to. He's a little over 2 months old right now, and he's maybe the smartest dog we've ever had.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So will he be a go dog with you? Because we've got a friend of ours that actually has an Aussie. I think he's an Aussie.
I think so.
Judge is an Aussie, and they specifically got him from the breeder for his temperament, to know that he was going to be the go with her all the time, like it is her dog.
Yeah.
So will he be your go dog, or will he be the family dog that kind of chills at home?
He's we're trying to get him acclimated to travel and get him. Yeah, he's already Yeah, I was thinking he's biting my feet.
Of course he is.
So,
He's like, Dad, you called for me.
yeah, he's called me
I
up.
blame you.
Oh yeah, no. Hopefully he can go on every adventure we go on and just be right with us. So that's
awesome.
kind of the goal. So
Very cool.
So Jeff, what brought you into YouTube?
well, I really during the pandemic I was bored and I just wanted to do play around with just doing. I just basically just throwing some video together of an old event that we were at, and I had a lot of video, and I thought, let me just put that out there and do it, and it did okay. And then I bought a Gazelle tent and wanted to just do a kind of my impression of the tent thing, and so I uploaded it, and it did really well for having no subscribers at all. So just intermittently over the next couple of years, I just would do installs and little reviews and different things like that, and try to document some of our off-roading trips and things. And when the shorts first came out, I started doing a lot of just because I had so many just random clips, and started doing a lot of shorts. And then we ended up it kind of took off from there.
That's
and
awesome.
And now I'm, I do way more than I ever thought that I just never would have thought that I could have achieved where we're at now with as a channel.
What I'm hearing you say is that this is like the off-road bug or the modification bug. It took you.
Yeah, it did. I'm not gonna lie. It just yeah, we just have tons of fun with it, and my little boy likes to help, and it's just kind of keeps us grounded. That's
awesome.
But yeah, we just really like. So what led? I mean, like, when did you really get into the point of knowing this is you're gonna do it and kind of treat it like a job type thing? Just just out of curiosity.
2018.
Yeah. Before this channel started.
Yeah, before this channel, I was pretty heavy following Nissan, and I'm here in Middle Tennessee. I'm right next to HQ. Know a lot of friends, had a lot of inside information, and I owned auto forums, and it just was. I started getting invited to things, and I was like, why am I getting invited to these? And then in 18, I was doing Nissan stuff, and my buddy with Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, he goes, why are you just doing Nissan? And I was like, well, that's my access. So I just left that go for a while, and I had a falling out with somebody at Nissan that were like, hey, we have your audience. We don't need you. Like they just
we gave you a couple
not
trips,
rudely, but I think he was pushing me to
branch out.
We want other audience. And so I just one day I wrote this thing out and put it on Instagram of I will no longer just cover the brand. I will no longer maybe hide things that, or not talk about things that probably were of concerns.
Be a little less diplomatic.
Yeah. And just do full-time auto journalism with it. And my buddy over there with Pickup Truck, he's been a very good mentor. But really since 11, I guess, but just not video wise. Yeah. That's when Fair Nation all that.
Oh, yeah. But you didn't think of it as a full-time job, or you didn't think of it as a job at that point.
I definitely treated it not as a full-time job, but it took up a lot of our time.
Yeah.
But no, in once in 20, everybody got that boost of everybody's stuck at home. So you got that boost of audience. And the money was pretty good back then too. Way better than it is now.
And we were some of the few people that actually still had to go to day jobs.
Yeah.
We didn't get the downtime. So that was really his outlet.
Yeah. Come home
and kind of that was his outlet after being out in the world.
Yeah.
With all the craziness that was happening. And so
right.
And now it's basically working 240-hour jobs.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
But with a goal at the end of one of those.
Yeah.
But no, the creativity, Jeff, it's fun.
Yeah.
I was a musician, so it lends itself into kind of similar creativity. And then once I brought Kelly in, because the female side of off-roading is a completely undervalued in a lot of cases. And then when Jesse Combs passed away, that showed a lot of people like, oh my God, there was a woman just kicking ass out there doing all this stuff. And then, you know, you start seeing it in the forums and slowly you like, I think stuff like the Raptor or the Bronco in general brought a lot of ladies into it going, oh, you don't have to be kind of a Jeep guy to do this. There's a vehicle for us. We can make our own thing.
Right.
And I see all these positives to it. And then we meet people like Mark and Jess who, especially on the ATM off-road channel, will have their own little thing going on there. But shameless plug.
Right.
But no, but getting feedback, like before you told me like, hey, you know, I'd watch some of your stuff, you know, trying to keep up to date with what was going on. You start getting a little feedback like that, and it's like, oh man, people, they want you to kind of go make a roll of this.
Well, and we've always been people that like we're all in people. Like if we're friends with you, then we're all in. We may not talk to you for a couple of weeks and then you say, hey, I need help with XYZ, and we're there. And so that I think, and we've coached for years too. So I think that's there's twofold to it. There's fulfilling our like social needs, I guess, but there's also that part where we know that we're kind of helping some people along the way and things. So I think that it's twofold for us. It fulfills some of those. And I hear squeakers.
Sorry.
And we'll do like stuff like the Chicago auto shows. We try to do some of these auto shows or SEMA, something like that. That's a whole nother part of this industry that it's a different, you make different friends from that and connections. And I don't know, that's a long way of saying, I don't know how we got into it.
He tends to get on a box, Jeff. He's long-winded.
Yes, very. So what's coming up with your channel, man? I see you've done some reviews. Looking back,
I'm trying to get more into like just like the current trends, automotive trends, different things like that. You know, I have a background in I had sold Hondas for several years back in my younger days. And family has auto parts stores, so I've just always been around the automotive. And I really enjoy just reading up on a lot of stuff, and it's hard to consistently kick the content out whenever you got a full-time job, but it's doable. So I hope to do more of that, and I just really want to be able to get out there and start doing longer trips, to really pushing myself and the vehicle, just do a lot more than I have been. So
no, definitely and don't ever feel pigeonholed. Ever. Like YouTube may take a while for them to accept that you're changing a little bit, but always have fun with it. Speaking of fun, I see you're like us and have a Scout maybe in your future.
Yes. Yes.
Ooh, now I got FOMO.
I know, right?
Come on, Mark. Yes, get one.
Come on, guys.
Everybody's
We
doing
like to encourage us to do things. You should do this too.
What
you
was
made me
it
get a
about
new
this?
car.
What was it about the Scout that kind of made you go,
I've never just been so drawn to something just out of the blue. And I just said, this is a very unique vehicle. And I was like, I never really ever thought about getting an EV or kind of anti-EV, I guess, to a certain extent. But something about the having the range extender and just kind of thinking like, well, I could carry some extra gas with me and then just really prolong these trips and not have that range anxiety and everything. And but I just saw a lot of when they had the electronics show, and they took the Scout and had it posted up with the rally stripes, and I just really think it's a unique concept, and they seem to really be listening to a lot of the feedback they're getting from their potential customers and everything. And it's exciting.
I think
really
they did a good job of hitting that classic look. With just some up to date features. Like obviously the front end, there's a little little different than the original Scouts, but the interior to me was, oh my god, the interior.
Yeah.
If they come even close to what this thing shows, is
yes,
gonna be pretty nice.
yes, yeah. I can't wait to get more information on it as they keep rolling different things out. But it's just a good looking vehicle. I just I don't really know what to expect. I've never had an EV of any kind, so it's going to be quite the trip.
Well, we have a few years yet to adapt.
Yeah, well, that's true.
And I've been talking to their PR team about doing an interview with the design team. And,
that's awesome.
And yeah, she's like, well, I was asking will they be at the Chicago Auto Show just with the displays, trying to build on the excitement. And she was like, no, and which kind of bummed me out because they were just at CES, and I was like, surely this will start hitting the auto shows because I want to see one. What's funny is the launch was in my backyard. Yeah. And we could not get the invite to go to there.
Right.
Because they were over capacity, actually.
Yeah. And so I was like, all right, so I want to see this in person, just get an idea of size, because that's the biggest thing to me is I feel like it's going to be Bronco size, probably more Raptor girth, but I want to see what these things are like in size.
Yeah.
I feel like from the pictures, it looks like it's going to be smaller.
It may be. I'm not sure.
I don't know. What do I know?
So, we sure will. We'll find out.
So Jeff, as we wind this one down with you, you said what's coming up? Any videos that you can kind of hint that's coming up?
I've got I'm gonna do some I have a few installs I've gotta try to finish up, and but yeah, I'm wanting to get back to the Hot Springs Off-Road Park and get both of the Raptor and the 4Runner, there doing some stuff. We've got the off-road park in our backyard. That's about a 90-mile trip for us to get there, and they've just it's kind of crazy. I've hit a lot of trails, and it's just you can go and spend tons of time, and you just seem like you can't scratch the itch there to get it all done.
Any interest in Supercell?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say something about that. I really think that I want to go to that.
You should.
I was going to extend. I was like, going, man, maybe sometime we can hook up and hit some trails, because I would
definitely, because you're not that really in scheme of things, not that far from us.
Not that far.
And I've never offered it. Rob Hallmark, who's in our chat, is in your area. Yeah. He's a Bronco guy, and I've never off-roaded in your area, so I have a lot of interest of doing that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that would be fun. That would be an absolute blast.
Yeah, you bring your family to Supercell. They may be like, can we go? But Pigeon Forge and all the fun stuff's there. So it's like, look, you do a day with me, I'll do a day with you.
Right.
Yeah. But no, Supercell is a lot of fun. Good place to meet people and people you might have met, like us or whoever you follow on the socials. Like, it's a great place for Bronco people. Yeah, and they'll appreciate your code orange.
Yes, code orange.
There you go.
But guys, I want you to go over. This is just something. Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Sorry, I was just gonna say. We talked to Tom from Bronco Driver Magazine last week. People come from all over the country. So, like Dave said, Supercell is great for Bronco. Supercell Tennessee. I don't know about the other ones because I haven't been yet. Maybe next year. Maybe next year will be our year. We'll go to all the Supercells.
26.
See, Mark didn't even look. He was like, no. But yeah, Jeff, if you can make it out, it would be great.
I would,
a little bit of hype
I would love
for
to,
you, but totally worth it.
Yeah.
So you guys,
see, my brother my little brother has a Badlands.
Oh, nice.
And I just there may be more than 1 year on this particular video. I was just trying to hit some of the high points of the.
That's awesome.
I think this is on Engineer.
Yeah, but definitely, guys. Clearly, Jeff will actually take his Raptor out. There's some that just don't, and there's no disrespect to that. No. But if you have it, use it, and it's nice to see you and your family like adventuring, having all this fun. I mean, like the phone pictures right here, like that's worth it, man. Like, we promised our daughter to get her out here because I'm like, seeing the real mountains will change what you think of a mountain
perspective at all.
Yeah.
And the drive, other than Kansas is awful. The drive out there is pretty nice too.
Yeah,
You could
that's
skip Kansas.
yeah, that's the most grueling part of that trip for sure is going across Kansas. And
Yes.
if you do it in the winter and you catch a random snowstorm, it's even worse.
Oh, I can't imagine because we hit just a little bit of a snow when we had gone out to Colorado in
in May.
what was
For Gondola.
Eisenhower Tunnel on 40. And you went in one side of the tunnel and you came out the other side of the tunnel and it was snowing. It was like a blizzard.
Yeah.
And you were like, and then when we came back through, luckily we had a day or two between because they had shut it all down because there was so much snow had come through and they weren't allowing people on without chains on 40. But then when we were going back through, the roads were fine.
We were in this awful. A buddy of mine.
Oh gosh.
We flew into Denver and he loaned us his 4Runner and didn't tell me. I mean, it was a Gen 3, but he didn't tell me he took all the sway bars off of it. And he goes, take it to Moab, go have fun. And yeah, we were going through. I was going down into the passes, and all of a sudden hit a corner, and the truck's leaning the wrong way, and I'm like, what's going on here? And then it's stalling out or something too. It was awful.
Oh, and then we did what's that that one in Moab on it.
Oh, on the highway, the curvy. I forget what road that is.
No, on the trail.
Oh God, what is that? 7 Mile Rim.
7 Mile Rim. I don't know if you've done that, Jeff.
I haven't, not yet.
7 Mile Rim. You're going along, and then it's like, okay, everybody's gonna do this like horseshoe on the side of the bill or the wall.
What else
and
has
we were
horseshoes? The Buckeyes. Go Buckeyes.
Anyway, so you see everybody do it, and it's like, okay, this can't be too bad. But then when you start doing it without 2 sway bars on it, you're like, shit, what do we get ourselves into? And like all of a sudden, I'm freaking out in the passenger seat. He's hollering back to our friend because I'm freaking out in the passenger seat. And
I lost the tire tracks going around this.
But you feel like without sway bars, you absolutely feel like you're just going to roll down the hill, and it was terrible.
Yeah,
never again.
Yeah, I've sway bar deleted my 4Runner, and it's
intense.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah, and it's not of my taste.
Right. Well, Jeff, I definitely going to send. We'll definitely all through all of our socials send some people your way. Hopefully, sure. It's been a pleasure to have you on.
Appreciate it.
Maybe in a few months we can have you back, and when summer season gets better weather, and we'll head that way, and we'll get the B team to follow us over there and go have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to wheel with you guys. That would be a blast.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And as long as you bring the Raptor.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm
wow.
Wow. Well, Jeff, like we stated before, Kelly, what is the rules here?
There's really no easy way to do this, but thank you so much for joining us,
Jeff. Thank you.
And folks, go check out Jeff at Wheel2Live Off-Road on YouTube's. And give him a subscribe and check out some of his videos. He's got some fun stuff over there.
Tell him we said hi. That's what you should do. So, Jeff, it's good chatting with you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, Bye, Jeff. See you guys.
There we go, guys. That was Jeff. Fun guy. I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah. But I knew I would because I seriously have watched his videos for a while and have reached out. And I'll reach out to some people and you're just like, well, they have either zero interest or they just don't read their direct messages or whatever. And Jeff was pretty quick.
Or they think you're fake.
Yeah, there's that fake ATN out there really trying to gobble up all the interviews. But no, definitely. I'll put a link in here just again.
Jess,
what? I blinked and I don't know what happened.
It's okay. I do it all the time. I've been married to this one for 18 years. I blink and
yeah. And obviously, Rob would love if we came out to Arkansas.
Yes.
Rob said we will see him at Supercell. So
nice.
But no, this year
Rob is our Bronco Arkansas guy. Like, I mean, now we have Jeff, so
he's our ambassador. He's the ATN ambassador from Arkansas.
Right?
He's the
Jeff, Rob, you have a new. You're the new title of ambassador. So, look,
not to be confused with Bronco ambassador.
I've crossed the whiskey, moved it up and down, or whatever you do. You are now the ambassador for ATN. There.
Wow.
Oh, is that how? Are we like knighting people with whiskey?
Apparently so.
Only I can do it, Jeff.
Isn't that how you become a squire?
Only I can be a squire in this group.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. Well, we clearly heard that all weekend.
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, it got you great parking.
That right?
Yes.
I
The
had-
fact that the package showed up, like, you walked up as we were getting ready to leave.
So, you guys, seriously. So, we're at Dave and Kelly's house. We're at the studio. And we're getting ready to go to Jack Daniels, the four of us. And Kelly just happens to go check the mail.
No,
She's
actually,
like,
the mailman shows up.
Oh, yeah,
and
the
he's
mailman
like,
was there.
he couldn't even fit it in the mailbox. So he just like hands
walked
it to
up.
me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Tennessee Squire? Well, isn't this cool? And then let
Right?
Jess, you can finish.
Yes.
Well,
we're
I
in-
was
so
like,
they
what?
don't know, Jess. You
I have no
you can
idea.
be a squire. You get what a foot by foot piece of property.
Yeah, you get 1 square
Well,
foot
and
of
that's what
property.
I didn't understand what was going on because you were like, "Oh, I got my deed," and I was like, "Do they buy property? What's happening?" And I didn't realize it was all kind of combined with what was going on that day.
Yeah. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, so you'll see a short or something. I don't know. I put something quick
did you make
together.
something?
Yeah, I made something quick. I don't know. It's kind of stupid, but I'll put it together so you all get to see it. So it's super cool. And then I didn't even know it, but we went into the little squire house. So I, as a squire,
Clearly, hey everybody, Kelly's a squire.
Jack Daniels Squire.
Jack Daniels Squire, I get special parking at the distillery. And
We did use that.
and we get to go into the Motlow home, which is exclusive for Squire members and up to 4 guests. But what I didn't know is when I got in there and I checked in, they said, "Oh, here's your 2025 gift." The 2025 gift, which means I get another one in 26. So we're just going to have to go every year so I can get all of my Squire cups.
Clearly, I've never said no to Jack Daniels. So, but you know, it might be fun. ATM Off-Road put together a Visit Tennessee, and we get a group of, maybe 20, up to 20, and that's it. And we hit there. We might hit Windrock one day. We might do something towards Mark and Jess, Clarksville area. Do the what was the trails? The what?
Scooter's Loop.
Yes,
Scooter's Loop.
Scooter's
Are we
Loop.
talking
Like
about
just
off-roading or eating? Because we're really good
No.
at all those things.
well, yeah.
I mean, everything could be involved.
But maybe we Patreons, let me know if that's something you're interested in. And speaking of Patreons, a couple Honest Smith is now a Patreon.
Yay.
Appreciate that support. And if you
Nice.
guys, and I'm not asking for this, but if you like to support the channel right now on YouTube, the best option, and it's the best option, is to donate members,
Memberships.
because YouTube doesn't take as much, I've learned.
It's crazy.
When you do that. So if you want to donate $5 and somebody gets a membership for a month and they see what's behind the door. Ooh, that sounds wrong.
Yeah, sure does.
What's behind the curtain, I guess. No, that's bad
Nope,
too.
that's even bad.
Anyways, it's a better deal for the channel if people do that. So last week was a big week for us on that.
Yeah.
I appreciate everybody that did that. And hopefully I've tried to throw some content that way too.
Yeah.
If you be, cool.
If
you
you
do
be
that.
Cool.
Yeah, if you be cool, you do that.
My
I don't know, man.
gosh.
I don't know.
And
It's
all
been
the
a
members
day.
live that he didn't show up to.
Oh,
Right?
burn.
Or Dave could be late to his live.
Mark, go ahead and give me some shit about that, by the way. I know you
Yeah,
want
so
He
we
means
were
it.
just sitting around the other night, and all of a sudden, like a little notification, like members live in 30 minutes. I was looking at Jack. Well, that's weird. Like, this is an odd day for a live. So I waited and I checked it in. Rob was there. Another guy was in there, and I was
YouTube
like, all right.
Starter Guide, maybe? Yeah.
It was like, the professor rule in college. Like, hey, you didn't show up. I guess we're not doing this.
Yeah, but y'all stayed for like 30 minutes, right?
Do I have
Yeah.
an intern that can teach that? Or what? No, what are they? The
TAs.
TAs.
No, you
Mark,
don't.
can you be the TA on that?
He's
I
like,
didn't have
I'm-
access to start it. So I just sent Dave a text. I'm like, members live question?
Yeah, I was like, oh,
shit.
well, I got cooking dinner and we were doing some family stuff. And even our daughter, like you had told them, she had a calendar in her room of because she wants to start doing some of those with me. She was all excited about that. And
she said she has live with dad, along with all her softball training and stuff. So she's got live with dad on Friday. And then
But she's squeezing that in.
Yeah, she's squeezing it. She even I'm proud of her. She put break on her calendar because she said Saturday, I'm not doing anything. So it was good that we all planned to hang out and chill, because I even asked her, I said, hey, do you want to go with us? She's like, not really. I just want to lay in bed and do nothing all day. Well, okay.
Well, let's be honest.
I mean, she nailed it too. She like barely even talked to us.
Right.
I know. And I tried to get her to come out and she was just like, I'm kind of laying in my bed right now. And I was like, come out here and say hello. Like,
well, and the Friday Night Live thing, like, Dave, I love you, but you were so late. I even looked at Mark and I was like, what if something happened? What, like,
will they give us a channel? Is that what it is?
Stop it.
They give us a channel, right?
No, not like I was excited something happened. Like I was afraid someone broke a bone or crashed cars or I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you showed up though.
Yeah, me too. No, it was actually I actually once it took a minute to get so those are not organized by any means. It's just like kind of
as
like,
opposed to anything else.
Yeah, these are sometimes organized, but it was a hey, let's just you guys want to talk, whatever, like, hey, let's just talk.
Impromptu hangouts.
Yeah, kind of
like a happy hour.
And yeah, once it got going again, because that me and Sydney used to sit here and hope for questions. A couple years ago when we did this, and it was just like I have nothing to say to her, she has nothing to say to me. This is awkward, but no, there were some good questions.
It's funny you say that because I totally forgot that you and Sydney did a like one episode podcast one time when she was like 7.
No, she was like 5.
But she was, oh my gosh, you need to pull that out of the archives because she was so funny. Like when she was that age, don't get me wrong, she's funny now. But like, sorry, my drink is kicking in. But she was so funny.
My daughter, let me tell you.
Shut up. She was. She would just say the funniest things, and you would just be like, "What?" Like,
yeah.
But now she's
yeah,
still funny.
I think me and her did 2 of those. I think.
Yeah, it was like.
Yeah, I was gonna do. I had this thing where I was gonna do her once a month. We were gonna do a podcast, but I wasn't gonna release it until she was basically 18, and then I was just gonna dump this all at once idea.
Like a whole conversation piece.
Life happened, got busy, or she was kind of maybe early on in a mood,
yeah,
and it wasn't going to happen, and dad's mood didn't connect with daughter's mood, and yeah, so that's probably why that didn't happen.
Yeah, but it was cute.
Surprise, surprise.
Right. Speaking of surprises, and which is not really much of a surprise, but we have a new president. And
it's not politic hour.
No, not politic hour, but Trump signs order to reverse Biden's electric vehicle policies, which I'd kind of talked a little bit about this on one of these shows of like, hey, the industry doesn't know where it needs to be because especially if you have 2-term presidents, they kind of, okay, I've got 8 years to know how we're going to be with vehicles. But when you have 1 term, the auto industry now is like, I don't know where we're going. Like,
well, then there's a ramp up period.
Ah.
If you're still there, we can't see you. Hold on.
User error.
There we go.
Yeah, he locked the computer.
But it's the same, like we've talked about before. Like I, work in international logistics, and there's all the talk about trade and tariffs and all that stuff. And on our side, we're kind of like, okay, we're just gonna wait and see what happens. There's all these things.
International shipping. So a lot of these new policies will affect what you do as well.
She already said that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's all right. No,
I was reading something as we were sorry.
And there was a big headline today, not to get into the political side of it, that, there was a statement made during the inauguration that was totally false about tariffs. Like all those tariffs that they're talking about, we pay for as U.S. consumers. Nobody else pays for them. We do. So it's going to be great. Everything's going to be fine.
Oh, of course.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
But with the EV deal, I'm neither pro or the electrics are coming, so I'm not like dumb to it's not. But I do think that 2030 mandate was pretty initially, and then they kicked it back 5 years. But the tech wasn't there for 2030. Clearly, I don't know that it's to be 100% EV by even 2035 is really a realistic. Now with companies like Scout doing the kind of a hybrid setup of, hey, we can do an range extender with gas, I can see that.
I feel like that's the perfect
a good
middle
balance.
ground.
Yeah, definitely a good balance right now. But for the auto industry in general, man, what a clusterfuck of but you know what? The UAW whether they officially got behind him or not, they were definitely pro. They wouldn't officially say they were behind him, but he said, "Hey, if you back me, I'm going to take care of some of these problems that you." Because EV is less jobs, it's less to assemble a vehicle because there's less parts. So the UAW has been very concerned about, hey, we don't want to lose members. We've already lost a lot of members.
Well, and big oil doesn't want to.
Oh.
There's a trickle down effect of things for sure.
But it is kind of interesting to me. Like Jess said, there's more to this than just a headline. Even for like you, international shipping, there's EV stuff in that. There's
absolutely.
We don't build all this here, so.
No, I mean, in just vehicles, I mean, there are companies that are trying to make battery powered cargo vessels, which, off the record, I don't understand how they're going to carry all those batteries and cargo at the same time. But hey, good on you.
Or that sinks. How good is that for the environment if one of those sinks?
Yeah.
There's already 100 Lamborghinis under the water somewhere and there was some Porsche EV stuff when that ship went down. Mark, what is your thoughts on all this?
And my thought on we're talking about the infrastructure, lessen the UAW jobs because it takes less parts. But the flip side of that coin is the blue collar worker, because all your linemen were the ones that were going to be employed to run the lines, to upgrade the power grid. So if you cut that back, all of the people that have been ramping up with the thought that they were going to have more employment, more jobs to set up the infrastructure to support the electric side, now those blue collar workers aren't going to have that as well. So, there's two sides of that.
There is a power issue right now. I mean, definitely look at California.
100%. Like our grid cannot support that level, that mandate, and I didn't ever think it was going to get hit because there's no support to it.
Yeah.
We're already, we just had that snow, like what was 9 degrees today. And TVA was talking about, they're not last year this time. They were doing rolling blackouts during the ice storm because the grid was so stressed. And they've made infrastructure, advances to not have that during the cold. But if we all had EVs sitting in the garage to get us to work on top of trying to heat our homes and everything else, we would have collapsed all the grids. And that's the other side of that coin. Some sides of the house focus on that and some focus on the auto side, but there's so many nuances to this. Just to say, and again, not to get political by any means, I think he's doing certain things to help the UAW and those that backed him into the presidency. I would like to think that there's someone on the backside also saying, hey, great, rolled that back. Let's talk infrastructure. Because as a country, we're growing electric demands and needs, and our infrastructure is so outdated anyhow. That needs to be a focus prior to us worrying about how many EVs and gas emission cars there are. So, it's a whole thing across the country. Jobs will be affected. We've got plants here in Tennessee that are EV focused. So as that stuff rolls back, you're looking at those guys, what's going to happen to those jobs. So it'll be interesting to see how things flush out over, the next little bit as this all comes to fruition.
I think the smart thing would be for, even though this is kind of being rolled back at this point, those types of things, I think the smart thing would be for them to still say, hey, we're going to continue to build the infrastructure because eventually, because I don't disagree, or I don't know the word I want to say, but I agree with that. We need to make some kind of changes along the way of like how we consume things for our vehicles. So I think, like you were saying with the Scout, I think that's kind of the middle ground there, where you've got bi-fuel, essentially, if you want to kind of look at it that way. You've got two modes in the event that you've got a backup plan if one of them has some challenges. And I think having the infrastructure needs that oomph. Like in general, like you said, Mark, like there's so many things that we're asking of our grid more and more and more that's electronic. I mean, look at us now. All of us have a cell phone in this house. Plus, we were actually talking about this the other day of like, literally, we have a TV in every single one of our bedrooms. We have a TV per person plus 2. Like that, like, I mean, if you think about it, how much more tech
Well,
we're using for everything, and
everything
electric.
Everything tech wise is using electricity, whether you think it's turned off or not. It's definitely using that. Wi-Fi is a big use. But I know there's a big thing, and even the previous administration now, we're talking about maybe we look at nuclear tech again, which would help some of these problems. And they're smaller. They don't have to build these massive, Georgia just had, I think it's their third reactor came online this past year, way over budget. And I mean, billions over budget, but there's these newer, smaller reactors that are pre-assembled, and it makes it cheaper to, like, we can go set this up in a community. Definitely that's the cleanest energy. I don't care what you say about solar and stuff. Nuclear is pretty clean now. It's not the
clean within reason.
It's not these Simpsons that you think of where this green goo you're throwing somewhere,
I mean, have you seen
the Enron commercials? The Enron egg?
But no, there's
Enron's a thing again, and they've got a spoof commercial, the Enron egg, which is a nuclear reactor, and it's like this size for individual house. And that, like, Enron is like coming back. They have a new, very young, very modern CEO, and it's a big joke thing for the Enron egg. But it's an advertise, and they've got in-depth, like, taking it apart and how does it work, and this is what holds the nuclear, fission material, and
don't touch that.
Wait. For the record, all I'm picturing in my head is like the trash compactor thing on the back of the DeLorean.
Oh yeah.
In Back to the Future, like, where we're going, we don't need roads, and you put some trash in and you fly away.
What did my kids become, assholes?
Do you know what I'm picturing? We literally just finished watching Chernobyl. Yeah. Like, that's what I think of.
Oh,
great
from nuclear perspective. Like,
you want to be angry and, like, you're crying at the same time. Like, I can't.
Yes.
Chernobyl.
Yeah.
And it's also creepy.
Yes. But I know we've come a long way from then. But the same thing being said, like, we have to evolve over time, and we get that. But at the same point, I think one way is not the answer. I think it's going to be a hybrid of ways that we have to, no pun intended with hybrid, by the way. But, like, I think there's a multiple way for us to continue to create energy along the way.
Well, the current administration now says they're going to open up the oil wells, which I've got a Raptor. I'm not going to be upset about that for a while. My grandkids might be upset, but as of right now, I'm not going to be too upset about that part of it. Though we're very lucky in Middle Tennessee. Prices are not what they are around the rest of the United States.
Yeah, I think it's $3.19 right now for premium at Costco.
Yeah, and you go to California, and if you can get gas in LA, do what?
I said I don't leave the house. I don't know how much gas is.
I only know because I looked at the app the other day. Is the only reason why I know it's $3.19.
So Kelly, why do you have a horse next to your shoulder?
I thought you were going to leave it to see if anybody paid attention. Nobody noticed.
Oh, I didn't notice.
She's unbridled.
Hey, now.
That's her name.
Title's taken.
Right? No, so this fancy little horse was our daughter's actual horse from when she was little, and I think it whinnies, actually, but we're not going to push the button. But
I mean, I whinny if you push my button, but that's
there's like
show.
Thank you.
So hey.
Adult Nation over there.
No. Our audience is dwindling. We started high. We had to like 23 like 10 minutes ago, and now we're down to 16. So
well, the audience wise, and some of them will come back and watch this later, but
Rob Hallmark says push the button. Probably can't hear it.
You gotta hold it to the microphone, Kelly. You could train, and like there's a whole athletic sport. Oh, you did it.
Hobby horsing.
Yeah, hobby horse. Is that what it is?
Yeah, you see those people using these to actually do the horse jumps and stuff.
Yes.
And,
yeah.
Hey man, there's a club for everybody. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right.
Not it. That is not why horses is in the studio.
Now the dog's all excited.
Now he's like, what is that?
Right.
Well, so that's kind of it tonight. I appreciate Jeff coming on with Wheel2Live. Bummer it had to be through a basically presidential election and the national championship game.
Right, massive college game.
Yeah. But
Nobody's paying attention to that, Dave.
If you've made it this far, and I hope you have, go hashtag Winnie. For the
How do you spell Winnie for that? You got to give them a spelling of that.
You're the speller.
Yeah, but you can't just throw it word out.
Hey Siri,
there.
how do you spell Winnie?
WHINNY.
WINNIE.
Oh, now how she comes out like she's so smart.
No, I was just saying you got to give them the spelling if you want to be able to hashtag it.
I had to type it.
There you go. That's it.
I had to type it.
No, that's like the name.
Like,
that's
Winnie the Pooh.
Right? I don't know.
There you go. Winnie. Hashtag poo.
No, that's
no, don't hashtag poo.
But
wait, before you jump away, we got to ask B team. Anything you guys wanted to talk about tonight? Anything exciting besides Jess's Bronco in her life?
Any mods planned for that thing yet?
I have a lot of ideas, but I don't.
I heard just the
tip. I want to kind of think.
Stop it.
I want to think through it before I put anything serious. I mean, so far I've ordered the really important things like, a screen protector, and my hood struts for my AG and my stubby antenna because I hate the antenna.
We heard besides Miss Squire, we heard about your stubby antenna hate.
You're being rude and talking over.
Sorry.
Marital Nation.
But I have a lot of ideas. I don't want to I want to make sure
I divulge them
right this time.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
Well, but she has to decide how much of the old stuff I have to put back into the new thing. So
facts.
So having one though, it must be like, oh boy, there's a new way of looking at this.
Or is it stress?
It's kind of all the things. I'm afraid I'm going to be like, let's get this and get that and get this. And I'll be back in the same place I was before where I've I want to put some thought into it and make sure I'm buying the things I want. As much as I like to think I am not made of money. And this stuff's expensive.
What? So you can do so when we were in the Nissan world, we actually had friends who were doing major builds on their Xteras. And unlike Bronco.
What's a major build?
Unlike Bronco, there wasn't a ton of aftermarket support for Xterra. Mm-hmm. So if you could get something, it was extremely expensive. Yeah. And it was kind of like single one-off type things. So they would have a budget spreadsheet of what they were wanting to spend or what they were wanting to do.
The last thing I need is another spreadsheet in my life.
I know.
Special guest from 2 weeks ago, all women driven.
Welcome.
Yay.
Welcome to membership.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
There's all the perks of membership, which are unfortunately more of my BS.
Yeah. But so I was just gonna say, if you really wanted to, you could build, but then again, you may not want to see how much it would cost you for the things that you want, because that was the thing why we never made one, because I didn't want to see
I'm just gonna do the full wholehearted American thing and charge it and then figure it out.
Yeah. And then just figure it out at the back.
It's like my 25.
Yeah. But Mark just sorted out his his grill and his front end situation after his deer strike. So he did a little rebuild and refresh.
Strike 1 and 2.
Yeah, not just one.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, so 2 weeks apart, I hit 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I don't know.
3 weeks apart. 2 days. I hit 2 deers in 3 weeks with 2 different vehicles.
I think the deer hit you, Mark.
The first one, the deer hit me. The deer hit me in the side of the Ranger and tumbled. Mm-hmm. And the Ranger has been in the shop since the 26th of December. And I'm not expected to, yeah. 5,000. The entire driver's side has to be replaced.
Thanks, Bambi.
Yeah, seriously. That's not expected to be back to me till the end of January. So it'll be 5 weeks or so that it's been in the shop.
Wow.
And then driving the Bronco to work, I rounded a curve, caught another deer. Gave our friends Luke over at Lifestyle Off-Road a little credit on the Instagrams because I caught that deer in his bumper and it saved the front end of the Bronco. but the head of the deer came up over and caught me in the grill and the driver's light. So the past week I've been rebuilding the grill, driver's light, completely snapped all the brackets. So been rebuilding the front end, went back to the OEM grill, put in some IAG ambers on it, new Oracle Oculus headlights, a bunch of rewiring of lights and parts and bits and stuff like that. So, good times. It's like Legos. Take it apart, put it back together.
And Mark knows his
Yeah,
Legos.
you know Legos.
Right? There's a handful of posts between Mark's Instagram, my Instagram, the ATN Instagram, some on YouTube. You see a little bit of Mark's revision as of last week. And I don't know how, but we ended up with more lights on the front of his Bronco.
It's a bright idea. It's a bright idea.
It actually looks really good. I was really we had a lot of conversations. He had the IAG 3 sort of Raptor lights, and he's like, should I get 3? Should I get 5? And I was like, I don't know, babe, that's a lot of lights. But he went for the 5. And it looks really good. And now I think he should get 5 more for the bottom.
Does that make you want?
I'm sold.
Does that make you want a glowy Bronco in the front?
I mean, I definitely need to get my ditch lights back on there, which are, second-hand, hand-me-down Morimoto ditch lights, which are super cool. I'm like, I need lights.
She watched the roller video from Saturday, and as I come around, she saw all of my lights, and she's like, I need lights.
I need those.
Right.
I need all the lights.
Right?
Well, it's funny because I would look.
No one wants the baseball cap, light bar.
Hey man, that's for you, and you enjoy that.
The light grumper.
It's not a grumper.
Well, it's funny because as we were coming around the corner, I was like, "Yep, those are Mark's lights." Like when you guys are next to each other.
When it's raining and misty, it's like, it's good job, Dave. And for the record, everybody, Dave is committed to his craft, because not only were we just cruising around in the back roads of Tennessee, he's pulls over and he's like, hang on, jumps in the back end of the Raptor to film the two of us just screwing around on the road. I was so excited.
Yeah. So word to the wise, if you ever are riding back roads with us, Dave may very well just pull off to the side of the road very quickly so that he can say, hey, get in the driver's seat to me. So he can he's like, this is really cool. We can't miss this.
Well, and then we actually stopped right in front of a barn.
Honestly, you guys pulled over there and I almost teared up, and I was like, oh, they brought me to the best barn ever, because as many might know, I have an addiction to putting my Bronco in front of barns. So it was a really good break-in for the new Bronco, but it was great. We had such a good time. Thank you guys.
Yeah,
of course. Thank you.
And froze my ass off back there doing it.
And there is no audio because this one forgot to disconnect from Bluetooth.
Yeah, so I didn't take any of my video gear with me, and I see these opportunities, and I was like, the mist and everything about with the lights, I just saw that and I was like, I have to have some video and photos of this. And so wasn't thinking, grabbed my phone, told Kelly, I hopped in the back of our Raptor, threw the top open, was just like, let's go. And didn't even think that my phone was connected to the Bluetooth of the car and no audio. And I was pissed off because I'm over here just talking, doing my thing.
He's doing his.
I'm looking cool. I'm sitting on this diabolical the pull-out rack, and I'm doing my thing.
Slide drawer.
Sorry.
I like that you still posted the thing without the auto. Mark saw it the other day.
I saw it. I was like, oh man, this is great.
Posted it.
Talk about a SeaWorld.
Maybe I'll do that on Patreon and let people insert the they think I'm saying.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. You should absolutely do that.
Science Mystery Theater, that shit.
Oh God, he's so obsessed.
But no, the backroads weather, it was just perfect. It wasn't perfect because it kind of
it was cold and misty and rainy, but it was great for pictures.
Yeah, a lot of fun for that. So especially Jess, it was your new vehicle. You gotta have some special pictures for that.
I'm so excited about it. And I shared one reel on the grams, and I'm as lame as it is. I'm excited to already have some super fun content with the new Bronco.
Yay!
Nice. And we took you to our favorite sushi place. Well, my favorite, and
Dave's favorite.
They didn't like it at all.
What? Stop! What is wrong with you two? Seriously, I don't know if you noticed, but Mark cleared everything off his plate and then everything off my plate. So
Well, I finished your plate too. I helped.
That is true.
What was I eating that you didn't like?
It was hamachi. Like it was the fish was too fishy for me yesterday or Saturday. But it was fine.
Well, I'm gonna have to try y'all's favorite place now.
And I don't even like fish, so that's why I had chicken fried rice.
Basic.
Pretty much at the end of the day, you put food in front of us, we're gonna eat it. Clearly.
Clearly. Well, so that is our show tonight. I want to say special thank you to B Team for being on. Guys, if you're on ATN Off-Road and you're watching this going, this is not Nissan content. Well, that's because this is an off-road channel now. And you're going to see, once again, you're going to see Mark and Jess get to do some things there. I know Mark's filmed some stuff that we're going to put over there for the lights. What were they? Novsite lights, right?
Oh, so, yeah. So I won, and there was a group of us. All these companies do contests, like, share, post, blah, blah, blah. I followed all the rules. I won a set of their X Series 4-inch ditch lights. After getting lost in the mail for like 2.5 weeks, I finally received them. So I just did an initial unboxing of those, very similar to what Dave did on the Nova, the Halo series that he received. So, and then I did an unboxing of the Oculus lights too, just to kind of show what you're getting in the box and stuff like that.
Thanks, dear.
This is my new set. Like I had to replace the set that, and I changed out just the regular one for the switchback. So now it flashes amber and whatever, but Oracle's got the great install videos, so I didn't feel the need to do that, but just kind of an initial impression of the Oculus lights again and an unboxing, because if you don't know, the Oculus lights are modular. So they come in pieces, you kind of snap everything together. But your OEM lights, those signature lights, they're huge. Like they almost get shipped in 2 separate boxes, one for each headlight.
Yes.
And the Oculus lights come in a box half that size of one light. So it's just really neat to see how they've got it broken down and packaged out. So
yeah, you can't really see. I was trying to get everybody's headlights in there. You can't really see it,
Yeah.
but yeah, we were all glowy.
Aw.
Yes. Now, if Jess just had some amber.
2 of us are stock light.
Someone's missing some ambers.
Uh-huh.
Well,
You're not
I'm
gonna
sure our
convince
friends
me
at
yet.
IG can help fix that problem.
I mean, maybe. You see? I mean, where's automotive? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. Oh, a special shout out to Allie, who is for the past month has just been under the weather, man.
Yeah, she's been battling.
She said, "Guys, I have no voice." I said, "That doesn't matter." I said, "Get on this damn show."
No, he didn't.
And she's like, "Look, I'm under blankets. I can't do this."
I
And
told her to take some D3 and settle down and take some time. She said she went and hung out this weekend. She couldn't, she felt like she should have stayed home because she was not 100%, but then she's like, I couldn't miss the first Bronco event of the year. And so
they had Winterfest at Hollyoaks or something fest at Hollyoaks up there. Yeah.
So she went and then is now paying the price tonight. So
she had soup and juice. That fixes everything.
Yeah, for
soup
sure.
And juice. And Verner's, because Michigan.
Yes, because Michigan.
You know who's not Michigan right now?
Stop it.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Wait, we gotta check before I leave.
All right, now we're just talking to each other.
Right.
Everybody's
31-15 with 6:25 left in the fourth quarter. It's I won't say it's a shoe in, but it looks pretty good right now. But you know what? Michigan won last year, so this is 2 powerhouses in the Big Ten back to back. That might be something. I did take her to the the Horseshoe,
and I burst into flames once we drove on
the
property.
What?
The Horseshoe in Columbus.
Yeah.
The football stadium.
It's not the big house.
Yeah.
You know why they're the big house? Because that's where everybody goes to jail.
Well, that's the doghouse.
Yeah.
Who let the dogs out? So whether it be 2-wheel drive,
4-wheel drive,
it does not matter what you drive. Special thank you to Jeff with Wheel2Live. You're going to see more of this. If you're new on the other side, these new channels, join us. Come out, hang out with us. Check out ATN Podcast for all your podcast needs. Check out what B Team's got coming up here in the next couple of weeks. You might see something from them. And we're out, everybody. Peace, everybody.
See ya.
And don't be us.